Lil D, author of Route 2, My Choice to Struggle to Succeed, forward written by Charlamagne the God, with BrandonCarter211.com. Listen, if you ain't messing with us, you ain't messing with nobody. You probably messing with yourself. Do better.
Specifically, we have my guy, K Nice here. K Nice, I'm gonna let you tell the people exactly what you do right now, bro.
It was difficult in the sense of, well, I'm a church boy, so I know how to fake it if I gotta fake it. So let's say let's just be honest there. But no, you know how to wear that mask. Everybody know how to wear that mask. But it kind of felt like code switching for me after a while. You know what I'm saying? Like, because I am such a raw personality. So it would be days I come to work and they'd be like, yo, you're on air, and you know, my mother called and because you said peen, and she had to explain to her child what a peen was. I'm like, yo, her child didn't already know. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that was difficult, and after a while it began to feel like I was kind of playing a character because I was having to censor myself so much. You know what I'm saying? But that was more of a situational thing. It was more of a thing where you're working with a co-host. You kind of gotta be on the same page creatively.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So that's where that came from. I wouldn't say that was mandates from the company. It was just difficult. So what I learned was I don't need to work necessarily for anybody, not very closely with anybody.
Right. You're obviously more comfortable with radio than when you first started. Am I wrong?
I would say yes. Like with any profession, I think the more you learn, the more you're in it. You know, you get better at it. There are times you still get nervous, depending on what it may be.
Interesting.
And I still like the nervous part.
What makes Sam so nervous?
It could be maybe I'm about to interview one of my favorite artists, or maybe it's somebody I'm not necessarily up on, but everybody else is.
Okay.
So I want to make sure that I ask the right questions that the people who like Sam want. You know, they want those question answers, but they also fans of whoever this person may be. That makes sense? So you want to make sure that you ask the right questions so that you can satisfy your listening audience who listen to you every day.
Yeah, so how is it coming up in that kind of culture where you're entering as a, I don't want to say apprentice, but you're not where your goal is at WKYC. So how is that culture?
For sure. For me, I've been at KYC for 3 years now. It was 3 years in October, and it's a constant struggle. Still trying to find my footing and where I fit in. But for me, what's most important is to always remain true to myself. I'm gonna be Kiera Chanel Cotton my entire life. And nobody can change that. And I thank my parents for instilling in me those values to make me comfortable with being myself at all times. And it wasn't always easy. Like, Black Girl Magic just became a trend in the past decade. So for me, again, thanking my parents for instilling in me the confidence to not only speak my mind, but to know that I am who I'm destined to be, regardless of the reception of others.
Nice. Let's give it up for that, man. That's amazing. People are always working on your behalf, even when you don't know. You know, so as someone who, you know, entering a field that, you know, I've always dreamed of entering, it shows me that people was always put in the legwork, even people I didn't know, to help me come to this position. And I want to start with you specifically, Sam, for somebody that has, for the majority of my life, I have listened to you on the radio. Now I eat your food that you own because you got the best fucking shrimp in the fucking city. But make sure you, hey, tonight specifically, y'all in here, I swear Sam Silk got some great fucking shrimp. It's amazing. But for somebody who went from,
Learn from the people who you're working with. Watch what they do. See what they do. A lot of times we put our feelings in it too much instead of learning from what's going on. I would be real. I'm not about to be sitting up here, oh, I got this. No. I've been blessed to learn from Radio 1. I've been blessed to learn from iHeart. I've been blessed to learn from when I was working at Brown's Chicken, when I worked at McDonald's, when I was on fries. But it took me some time to realize that, because how many of y'all want to be honest and say you complain on your job? They get on my nerve, they do this and that. Tell the truth, put your hand up. Don't put them on Facebook. You have to mature enough to be like, okay, this is a business. And this is where I want to go. And everybody ain't built for owning their own business. Because owning their own business is not really, what people think it is all the time. They see one picture, oh man, he got it going on, she got it going on. But they don't know the hard work behind it. You know what I'm saying? So, I give God praise, and I ask him to humble me. Keep me humble. If you stay humble, man, you can grow. When you start, all this and that, I have to utilize the platform that I'm on. Everybody here has a platform. It's just that you have to one day realize your platform, realize your worth, realize where you want to go. A lot of people don't know where they want to go.
Yeah, that's real.
Once you realize this is where I want to go, then you have to check it. You have to check some things. But learn where you are right now, wherever you are in your life, whoever you work for right now, whatever company you work for. If you want to own your own business, pay attention even when you are not happy. And guess what? The same stuff that you judge them on, if you ain't got yourself in check, them people gonna judge you on the same stuff that you judge the company that you ask God. How many of y'all ask God? I'm not ashamed. I'm keep it. You ask God for a job, you ask God to give you, and then you get there, and you start complaining, and you start bitching.
Yeah, that's real.
But what you ought to do is say, God, let me get what I need to get until where you have me where I need to go.
That's something that's very important. I've literally been able to follow his model. So if anybody would look at anything I've done, I've literally followed Sam Silk's model. From the first time Sam Silk came to Cleveland to when he left and went back home, and then he came back to Cleveland. Sam took a step back from Cleveland radio, and then he came back with Sam Silk's Chicken and Fish. You know what I'm saying? So, and seeing that, I remember when he was opening it, I just told him, I was like, yo, I see the vision, bro. I was like, yo, as soon as I get me some money, I want a franchise. I was like, yo, when you start franchising, I want one. You know what I'm saying? But like he said, you gotta watch the people that's around you. And I watched the people that was around me. Some people are career radio lifers. And then when the industry spits you out, because it's gonna spit you out. When it spits you out, one, people will act like you were never there because there's so many people ready to take your place. But then two, so many people get spit out and they find themselves skillless. You know what I'm saying? So what I would say to that, to answer your original question, yep, I got a million hats in a pot. Because you gotta be ready to pivot at any moment. You know what I'm saying? And in my current business venture, nobody saw me pivoting to that. One, because I don't believe in making announcements. Like, the paint gonna be dry by the time I actually say something. You know what I'm saying? Because anything could go wrong. And you know that as a business owner. But part of the reason of me leaving radio was because they tried to take one of those streams of income away from me. And I realized you gotta have, what they say, the cliche thing, 7 to be a millionaire. So how many of you gotta have to be a billionaire? Okay, so you're doing an amazing job, by the way. So Eric,
the most important thing is when Lil D came to Cleveland, and I was witnessing a lot of the things that she was going through, that she was talking in the documentary. I think the thing I took away from it is I was a lot in that same situation. And what I mean by that is, it's crazy how I relate to her story so much. I wasn't traveling as much as she was traveling, but we held each other down. I helped her move in. When I really didn't have a home to live in, she bought me my first air mattress. Like things like that. So when when you see somebody go through, a lot of the things that you go through, you really appreciate them a little more. Having hour-long conversations with her on the phone about what she wanted to do, about what she was going to do, about what she ended up doing. It's fucking crazy to me because we're both at the heights of our story, man. And not even the heights of our story, we just the beginning of our story, should I say. So I want to bring Lil D up here. She's fucking amazing. Straight out of Dallas, number 5 in the market. Let's go, D. Now you able to hit the stage. Can we get a little spotlight right here? I mean, we black as fuck. Can we get a little light? Yeah, I like that.
For Z1079 in Cleveland, I be working at a call center right now, living in Louisiana, doing a bunch of nothing. I had to come back to Cleveland. Cleveland, literally, it taught me how to hustle, how to brand. It's people that was on Facebook that was like, word I heard is Lil D gonna be here. And I'm like, yo, I haven't used that in like 2 years. I left here in 2014 and people are like, word I heard is Lil D coming. That's amazing.
Real talk.
It's been overwhelmingly great.
So D, oh man, I don't even know where to begin, man. Like, okay, what took you to Toledo? Let's start there. What took you to Toledo out of all the markets in the nation? How the hell did you end up at 419?
Well, I applied. I saw it was open, and I applied. I didn't even know where Ohio was. I thought it was on the West Coast because, swear to God, because Bombas and Harmony was signed to Eazy-E, so I was like, it's got to be near California. I swear, like up and down. I swear to you, somebody had to Google it and show me a map, and I was like, oh, well, damn. But I was excited, like, I was just like, yo, this is a new place, I'm finna go, I got a salary, they gonna give me insurance. Like, I ain't never had insurance other than like my mama insurance. Like, I got my own insurance, like what? Right. I want a salary, I get vacation days. I was just ready to go. I printed out some MapQuest directions. It was all like,
some people feel like, yo, it's the best I could do. What made you want more at that time?
I've known since I was little I was gonna be a fucking star. So I knew I could change the world, Toledo. So I knew that there had to be more for me. Even before they fired me, I was applying for other jobs. I'm talking like New York and Chicago. Like, I'm gonna get somewhere because I'm a star and I need to be where it's big and I'm gonna get there. So I just, even now I'm in Dallas and Dallas is dope. But my new goal is New York and I bet you I get there.
No, that's real. I can personally contest to this, I promise y'all. I don't think me and Lil D have ever had a conversation about anything that neither one of us have accomplished so far.
Facts.
And even when, I don't even want to, we humans, so we have weird moments, but even in those times, we constantly uplift each other, you know what I'm saying? We never steered away from our journey.
Never.
And I appreciate that as a friend, and to you because that's inspiring. And I always told you that because one thing I loved about you specifically is you were always for the youth since day one. When you didn't have $1, you were still doing the Boys and Girls Club. You were still doing all these events for free. You didn't even have a dime to get the things that you got done, but you had a vision.
Yeah.
And me and you used to always talk about that. Like, damn, I don't have this and that, but I got an idea. And ideas they manifest into reality.
They do.
So was that something that you had to learn along the way? About manifestation specifically?
Yeah. When you're as poor as I was, as in no food, sleeping in your car, all you have, literally all you have is your goals and your dreams. And you beat yourself up. I know I did. One of the biggest lessons I learned in that motel was nobody can hurt you like you can hurt yourself. So every day I'm waking up with these negative thoughts and I'm telling myself, like, look around you. Your friends get married, they got kids and houses and good jobs, and you in a motel. You ain't got no food. For radio? This is stupid. And the moment I started saying, yo, you don't need a big house to be happy. You don't need $1 million to be happy. My circumstances changed. The moment I started saying, you can take this side, I'm gonna tell you what did it. I was in college while I was homeless, mostly because I needed a loan, man. Shout out to Sallyman.
I don't like that picture.
But I got my scholarship check, and I could have used it right then and there to move to Cleveland. I didn't because I knew I wouldn't have been able to afford rent. So instead I used it to buy a MacBook. It was $1,100. And I talk about it in the book how a lot of people thought that was just the dumbest decision. Like, why would you spend $1,100 on a MacBook when you are literally homeless? And I remember saying, this computer's gonna give me an apartment. That man didn't have to write the board. He's Charlemagne. He's famous. He's a millionaire. And if I call him right now, he'll answer the phone. Call him.
Do it.
Niggas. I was one of the people that kept encouraging Lil D. When I say y'all, she would call sometimes and be like, fuck! I'd be like, yo, D, just stay the course. It's just it.
Right.
You're gonna be alright. Like, it's good. No, fuck that! But the fact that she never let it tore her down, because we all got somebody we can call and we probably wild the fuck out with, you know what I'm saying? Because sometimes we gotta get it out. You know, we might not want to do it publicly, or we're in our feelings, you know, or whatever the case may be. But one thing I love about you is you never carried those feelings. You never manifested those feelings into a reality to where it ruins you.
Nah, you can't, because what you feed grows. And it took me a lot of personal growth to realize that, but I spent so much of my life tearing myself down, being negative, just not ever seeing the glass being half full, that I was like, okay, if I'm doing this and this is the result, what happens if I flip the way I think? Like, what happens if I'm nice to myself? What happens if I try to see the positive in this situation? Like, I think it's gonna get better, and they did. Like, that apartment I lived in Cleveland was real small. But you know what? Because it was $450 with all utilities paid, I was able to save money. I fixed my credit. I flew my mom to see me. That was the first time she ever got on a plane.
I remember that.
Yeah, I was able to help my family. My little sister came to see me. I was able to put back $500 a month in my savings account and not touch it.
Just support, because it's so, y'all don't understand what support do to somebody. You know what I'm saying? We just had these women up here talking about, imagine Lil D not even walking in the Boys and Girls Club that day. You know what I'm saying? Imagine her not identifying with, you know, another black woman. Like, imagine all these things not happening that ended up happening. So anything that you can do, a hug, a thank you, anything, man. Show this woman some love, because obviously she'd have been through it, and she's a reflection of all of us, because ain't none of us just straight and narrow. You feel what I'm saying? So I love you guys, and thank you for coming through. We're here, man. Hashtag #2books. She'll be over there signing books and taking pictures. This is a fucking hustler, like her name tag say. And thank you guys for coming out. Follow Blame Swoop. I got a lot of shit going on. Love you.
We love you more.
Okay, y'all can get a hand.
Man, listen. Y'all ain't even crying.